We've waited for 2 years in order to finally get Summer Rivi on Grand Summoners Global. And even after this 2-year span, there were still plenty of people that was looking forward to this release. They had so much hope in their hearts that she would still be able to hold a candle in this day and age. And well, I'll give my opinion on that in a little bit. So today we're going to be showing her off, taking her up against a few different bosses, really running the gauntlet with her. But real quick, before we get into all this, I want to say a huge shout out to Routes for helping me record this, along with everyone else who was actually in the live stream joining the lobby, so we could do different Mono Fire comps and everything. First time I ever did something like that, and I may do that again in the future when it comes to other showcases. So if I could sum up Rivi very quickly for you, she's a defense ignore damage dealer that's able to get exponentially stronger if your entire team is pretty much at max HP. Her abilities are kind of whatever. The main ones that you may want to look out for is just her unique, where if you get near death, everybody gets instantly healed. As you see with the art, we have physical equipped CT speeds and attack. True art is going to be defense ignore and that fire res, and then the super art is where of course that huge damage buff comes into play. In terms of her slots, she has a 5-star physical, 5-star physical, and a 4-star support, or if you have her at LB5, I think she has a 4-star defense here. If you want more art gauge, her true weapon is really good because it gives you 3 arts per second passively just by having it on her. But if you want to opt out for a true weapon just for more damaging options, like for example, true delta suit, I wouldn't really be opposed to that either, but I definitely would try to run some kind of art gauge item in that second physical slot. For the 4-star defense, it's really just going to be whatever you're fighting up against. Make sure you can counter the boss in that way. Or if you're using her in nukes, then you'll be using something like Relic Dola armor. In terms of the crest slots on Rivi, highly recommend you go with attack up and art gauge up. Now you may have noticed with a lot of her kit, especially her skills, she's actually pretty good at art shitting, which is going to be very good since you're running Mono Fire. And Mono Fire already has so much art shit thanks to the big 3 that make Mono Fire. You're going to see that we have no problem at all taking on Velzard here. This is a perfect fight for Rivi since Velzard has innate crit res and he buffs up his defense. The best thing you can do is of course have some kind of defense ignore, and Rivi has that. You may be like, oh OP, how are you able to survive all this if y'all don't have any kind of defense item? The thing is that this team innately has 75% DR as soon as they load into a quest, thanks to Summer Iris and Sunraku, and then the active DR that Valentine's Priscilla has. So Velzard's getting absolutely clapped in all this, and fun fact, this is another glitched fight in co-op because once you get him down to his final threshold, he just dies. I don't know why this happens. Maybe this is something like to do with the coding in the game or the servers or something. It just goes to show that some fights are legitimately easier in multiplayer than single player. If you pull up the detail screen, you can see Summer Rivi hitting for 23 million. The next thing we took her up against was actually Holy Knight Roy. Summer Rivi has innate freeze res, which is going to help her out in this fight, and she also has water killer, surprisingly. Very rare on a fire unit to have that. To an extent, it kind of like negates her type disadvantage, at least when it comes to damage. When it comes to actually playing Summer Rivi, it's so simple. You can really do whatever you want to with her kit. A lot of the times we load into the quest and you see that Routes is using the skill to get the art gauge going for everybody. Once you get that skill off, you can kind of go straight into that true art to get the big defense ignore. Maybe use your art if you want some attack and equipment CT recovery, but for the most part, after you get that true art off, you can opt in to go into that super art or do whatever else you want. The only thing you want to make sure it's just up all the time is her defense ignore. As long as her defense ignore is up, you're okay. And look at this, Roy is actually getting destroyed by this team, which I was really surprised about. Considering this team isn't as defensive as some of the other team options that I've used on this stage, I was really surprised seeing that Roy was kind of not pummeling this team with like freezing and everything else. And I don't think Summer Rivi got frozen once thanks to her innate freeze res. This innate freeze res, by the way, got buffed in JP like yesterday. I guess now, while Roy's fighting for his life in the background against these guys and gals, I want to talk about some of my Nick picks. She has big damage. She looks cool while she's doing it. I love her animations. Her animations are very unique, but man, she definitely feels like a unit that's just kind of existing. Even though she has like this art shit and everything else, she just doesn't feel like she's doing a lot. It's very strange for us just to have a defense ignore character and that's it. Granted, on Mono Fire, you do get a bit more with her thanks to her fire res down. But even in this fight with Dark Light Dragon, which is the first time I think I've ever used 2 type G archshinners, I think that's what they're called, where they archshin from their skill. She does really well as she hits really hard, but it's just, why am I using this character when I could use someone that's just a bit better in this slot? If we're not considering Mono Fire as a whole, we're just considering like like units in general, if I need a unit with defense ignore, I could run Farron. She just came out and she has that AoE defense ignore plus the art gauge, and if I'm using other light units, she has big damage buffs. If I just wanted to run another character that gave me a bit of art gauge and damage, I could use Saito Hajime. And with Mono Fire, if I wanted someone to give me quite a bit of fire res down, I have options like Shizu. This is a character that just came out too late. I think she still has a place maybe in nuke situations. I'm kind of like disappointed with Summer Rivi. And more so, I'm disappointed not just in the unit, it's kind of the dev team for waiting so long to give this unit to us. Because if this unit would have came out a year ago or like 6 months after her initial release on JP or something, she would have been insanely good. A lot of people would have used her on Mono Fire. She probably would have been one of the queens of nuking and all this other stuff, and we would have had a lot more mileage with her compared to how it is now. There's just too many other units that do something similar to her, or is just doing more than what she can offer. So yeah, that's my overall opinions on Summer Rivi. Tell me down below what you all think about her. Do you like her? Do you hate her? Is she kind of whatever to you? You already heard my thoughts. I would love to hear yours. Also, if you enjoyed this video, I had to check out this video popping on the screen right now. This video teaches you how to know if an equip is good or bad, and all the other tricks and everything I use when it comes to using my own equips. If you're interested in something like that, I highly recommend you click on it. Huge shout out to everybody that helped with this video again, by the way. And last but not least, you guys already know, don't forget to drink water.